Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Data Dispatch. I hope you guys are having a great day. First of all, I just want to say I appreciate all of you guys for watching, helping the channel grow. It's been great to see, and I've always had a really good time educating myself and educating you about what's happening in the market, and especially with these AI stocks. We're talking about Palantir and NVDA and doing updates on the general market. It's been really great to stay informative. So thank you guys so much for always watching and tuning in on the night session here. We're going to be talking about wrapping up the trading session for the week with PLTR. Everybody is talking about this bullish pattern that they're seeing on the weekly charts, and that is the cup and handle that is being set up. We've seen it across Twitter. We're going to be analyzing this and talking about where PLTR sits right now. In NVIDIA, I do have an interesting article to share with you guys that's really hard to conceptualize this correlation that's trying to be made out, and the prediction that this basically theory could become a reality. And we've seen it historically happen with other stocks, and to think about it is kind of insane. So we'll be talking about that in just a second, of course, in a broad market overview. So if you are a new or returning viewer, hit that like button, subscribe for daily videos, and of course, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just collecting all the data and dispatching it to you. Now pop it up at the screen here, what you can see. We're looking at MooMoo's interface. I always do like working with MooMoo's analytics and their user interface because of all the tools that I can get in the matter of just a few seconds. We'll be talking about this in a second. But weekly chart here, everybody's been talking about this cup and handle that has been formulated over the trading history of PLTR on the weekly chart. And one thing that's kind of coupling with this that you can see here on MooMoo, the daily short volume that we get, that I really like that you get this information on a daily basis, is only 2 million, and this is basically at an all-time low basically in the last few months compared to the shorts that have been taken in terms of these most likely institutional investors, which are the majority of the people taking these large short positions, because there's certain qualifications you need to even to be able to take a short position. This shows me that a lot of people are starting to switch their momentum and ideology in terms of more of a bullish position. Now, of course, with MooMoo, if you do sign up, I'm an affiliate link with them. Last thing I'll talk about, you get 8.1% APY in your cash and up to 15 free stocks on a deposit. Of course, the commission-free trading. Check out the link down in the description. But nonetheless, what we're seeing is price targets that are starting to, number one, increase, and number two, starting to become higher than their average. Average price targets right now compared to analysts is at 22.70 and current price is at 23.50. This gets to the point where could we possibly see a breakout? And we've seen PLTR that's established as critical support at about that $20 to $21 level, now seeing some momentum across the market. And specifically what we see is a lot of momentum coming in here. I want to share this here on Twitter quick. Palantir is saying my cup of tea. You can see this very getting here. Weekly chart, what I'm talking about right now, but the AI is really ramping up across PLTR. And what we've seen, especially across the market, is AI is ramping up growth. I mean, just look at NVIDIA by itself. And specifically with the different types of contracts that PLTR has established, you have the $480 million smart Maven project that is working with the Army. You have all these different types of commercial projects and AIP that has really been a successful accelerator for PLTR, and you've seen that in the recent quarter growth earnings with commercial revenue growth, U.S. commercial revenue growth, and of course governmental growth that is still continuing to accelerate. And I think we're going to see that being reflected in the next quarter earnings, which should be happening in the next few months. Customer count is very important for PLTR, and especially with AIP in the last quarter. Remember, we saw over 1,300 boot camps that have been established with AIP, which does show you that the catalyst for the growth within this company has really been their dive and their investment into the private sector while keeping up the credibility and the trustworthiness of their governmental contracts. And now that you have a lot of businesses that are getting into AI across the board, these businesses are starting to experience a FOMO type effect, in my opinion. And what this means is, okay, how do we get into AI and to bring productivity and efficiency within our business And what we've seen, and we've seen this statistically, not just me talking, is that companies getting involved with AI are seeing a positive return on investment. And this is going to further the domino effect. Now, the question is, with all these companies that are biting right at the bit for getting involved in AI, PLTR has always been a leading competitor within this space. And if you couple this with the markets that are doing very well right now, we have the S&P 500, we have the NASDAQ that are continuing to set record highs following a positive CPI inflationary data report. We're seeing signs of cooling, and this is increasing our probability for the first interest rate cuts to be experienced across the market, which can show us that the actual easing of inflation of the economy is happening in reality. And if this continues, coupled with the AI demand that is showing no signs of slowing down, just look at NVDA specifically, we're going to be talking about this here in a second, then I think for PLTR, we could see this breakout possibly here into even the 30s in possibly by the end of the year. That's not too far from where PLTR sits right now. And I think the opportunity here could be very lucrative depending on the risk assessment and all of the other things that do have to fall into place. Of course, there's lots of variables across the market, and especially with the economy right now, things are very uncertain and tense. However, we're still continuing to see AI that is taking basically the lead in this market. And PLTR is growing right aside that by being a leading competitor in the space. And if we go into NVIDIA right here, this article talking about can it reach $1,200 again even after the stock split? A very interesting comparison is shown here, saying that it wouldn't be the first time that reaching $1,200 again would mean a 10x from today's price, and that NVIDIA has already pulled off a 10x in the last 3 years. Doing so would mean that it reaches a $30 trillion market cap. That sounds insane, right? But in 2010, a little more than a decade ago, about a decade and a half ago, Apple was the second largest company in the world. The company made headlines as it neared a $300 billion market cap. And fast forward to about a decade later, Apple was in the headlines again, this time as the largest company in the world and the first to pass $3 trillion. And $3 trillion compared to what $300 billion was a decade ago seemed mind-boggling. I couldn't agree much more that they did not see the opportunity for the growth that was ahead. And looking for the market cues, is NVIDIA, if it sustains the same CAGR, the compounded annual growth rate, if it can sustain that of about 28.5% through 2030 for the entire AR market, if that rate holds, it would take 9 years for NVIDIA stock to reach $1,200 again, which right now doesn't seem like too far of a stretch at 28.5% with the demand and with not just the growth in terms of percentages that we've seen in NVIDIA's earnings reports, we've seen multipliers in NVIDIA's reports. So there are large assumptions here. Of course, this is not going to happen. This is no type of guarantee, but it just shows you that this has happened before with a stock. We've seen it with Apple, that is still one of the biggest stocks right now in the market. And NVIDIA, even as the biggest stock, that was Apple 10 years ago. Could this re-happen? Of course, only time will tell. But they do have a big hold on the market. They have a stranglehold of about 80% of the chips that are within the market. And NVIDIA sets a lot of the pricing, and they do have a lot of pricing power. So there's a lot of interesting things ahead. I want to know, what do you guys think? Do you think PLTR will continue to see a little bit of a breakout here, especially with this cup and handle that has been set up, possibly reaching $30 by the end of the year? And do you think NVIDIA even has this type of opportunity? A lot of interesting things here to go into the weekend. and especially with the market, we'll be keeping you guys up to date. But continuing to set historical highs, I think this is going to continue until we see any type of large fluctuations. Peace out, take care, and I'll catch you guys later.